I don't know about you, but I'm still adjusting. And now from one outspoken personality to another, Mr. Jim Morgan on line 2. Hello, sir.
Hello, Pete. How are you today, sir?
Not bad. Did you hear all that?
I didn't know Roger was coming on. I was in the lineup there with your manager of the program, producer, and but I said, well, that's good if he's coming on, because I got a feeling he's going to talk about the same thing as I, or some of the same things. Mm-hmm. And sure enough, I'd say, Roger Grimes, God bless you.
Well, there you go.
You're in good health.
Who'd have thunk it? Yes, indeed, he does sound good.
He's good health. He does. That's good. That's good. It's the number one positive thing about him. He got all his operations. I haven't seen him for a while. I was away myself. But God bless you.
He sounds fit.
I mean that today, coming from a person who never took part in his party over the years, the Liberal Party, but I agree with him 100% today. And that's always strange when you see a long-time Tory agreeing 100% with a former Liberal.
Now, are you agreeing on both subjects he spoke on?
First of all, on the Alderaan, I want to say yes. He's absolutely right. I mean, how things change, but don't change. For example, I remember our former Premier, back in the days of Mr. Williams, when he came out, oh no, you can't move a one spoonful of ore away from this province, and et cetera, et cetera. And here we are now, as he said, this is a major giveaway with Alderaan. And when he took over, went over to China, and we lost the minister because of it. This was all about the same company. And they're dealing with EB Steel over there in China, the big company. And now, all these months has passed. We lost a minister over the whole thing. I know what I'm talking about. You know who it is. He was a strong minister in the government of Newfoundland. Mm-hmm. And now, here we see the PC government, yesterday, giving an open mining permit. Open, wide open. Do as you please with the permit, fellows, but you got your mining permit. Now, here they are, a company with no financing in place, and won't be in place. You need a $1.5 billion more yet from their private financing, whether it's with China or elsewhere, not until the end of September of this year. And even then, it's questionable. And no processing to be done in our province, all exported in raw form. And that's the kind of thing that Danny Williams supposedly at the time stood firmly against. Mm-hmm. And of course, now we see a different thing. Is it because, and I'm going to pose the question, is it because that Mr. Williams, former Premier Danny Williams, is connected to Alderaan? We know he's connected in some way. He was on the board of directors. I heard a question came over your program today. Someone was wondering if he is connected or not. I think you said yes, he is.
Well, according to the tweet here, and that was my understanding, that he's still essentially an advisor of some sort on some kind of contract. Yeah.
But we know he's connected. No, Danny, let's be fair about all of this. I mean, when you were critical of Grimes' administration, I remember you said, oh, it's a real bad deal on Voisey's Bay because you could move Mack trucks through the loopholes legally. And after the thing started up and Roger got it going, everything was fine. You said, oh, well, you were down, visited the people in that company down there at the time, and you said, oh, it's a good deal. It was going to work out fine. So what are you doing now, Danny? Because I know you're involved with the man has taken over as Premier. There's two things I'm opposed to, and Roger picked on two of them. Fortunately for me, maybe. But this is Alderaan is one. He's involved in that. We're going to put up a new line for them, going to their property in Labrador. Mm-hmm. We're not going to force them to do any processing in the province. And it's all because maybe Mr. Williams is involved. But I can't prove that. I just heard the fact that he was still involved, but he was off the board of directors. Mm-hmm. Now, having said that, the second one, I know my own mind, been around politics for all my life, practically all my senior life anyway, and before, that Mr. Williams is calling the shot what's happening on government in Newfoundland now, and the Premier's office in particular. So let's look at the perspective. Who's the real Premier? It's not Tom Marshall. Tom has been walked over by Mr. Coleman. Coleman is calling the shot, moving out the people who work with the former premiers, at least two of them, and they're gone, and moved in his own chief of staff, and even before he's even Premier, so is he calling the shot? No, Pete. The man who's calling the shot is the man that wouldn't let, I repeat, wouldn't permit and wouldn't give his blessing to not one member of the House of Assembly on the Conservative side to run for leadership of the party and become Premier, maybe with a better chance than what they have now. He wouldn't let him run because his man was coming in. I repeat the words, his man was coming in. And this man came in.
But are you saying Mr. Coleman is the kind of man who's been a self-made individual in terms of his own business, very successful, very capable man? He's allowing himself to be some sort of puppet and run by the former premier? Is that the suggestion?
Mr. Williams is the one that coaxed him to run and then turned around and coaxed all the members of the House of Assembly on the government side not to run.
Well, he might have exerted some influence in terms of how the leadership race was going to play out, but are you suggesting that he's continuing to make all of the calls in terms of the, economic decisions made by the province?
I'm saying that right now that Tom Marshall is in there, I guess you'd call him acting. Mr. Coleman is moving his staff in and sort of taking over. But the main man who's calling the shots and will if Mr. Coleman takes over as Premier, but I'm very doubtful he's going to get in there. He may get in there now, but after the election is called, he'll be gone again. I'm convinced in my mind that Danny Williams will call the shot every way possible with Mr. Coleman if he becomes the Premier. And I don't know how many more don't like that, but I don't like it. I mean, we've had enough of what Danny's shenanigans over different things, and this one here is now popping up again on the Alderaan thing. Now, having said that, I won't go as far as maybe as what Mr. Grimes said, but I do agree with him. There's something wrong with all of this. Something wrong with the procedures behind paving contracts and companies involved in but I don't know Mr. Coleman. I never met him. They say he's a fine gentleman. Sure he is. You know, I know he's a fine gentleman, but he's not going to be a very good politician. I'll say that. I don't think the people are going to take for granted everything that's going on, that Danny Williams is not having a say, because Danny Williams is having a say, and people don't like that.
All right, well, Mr. Grimes' headline is going to be fraud, and yours is going to be something wrong.
Something wrong.
It's going to be an interesting situation. I'm just going to float this as a possibility now. Should, say, the next general election, Mr. Ball be successful, as the polls at the moment suggest he would be, and you're going to have essentially a standoff then, or at least a power struggle between, in your estimation, Mr. Williams, who's doing everything he can to make things go the way he would wish, and Mr. Ball, who I think we can all agree is probably not taking direction from Mr. Williams. It's going to be interesting to see how that plays out.
Yes, indeed, and I would like to see, I've met Mr. Ball a number of times. He's a fine man, fine gentleman, and maybe too much of a gentleman at times in my own estimation. I like to see him more fiery and more stronger on dealing with issues like the one that's going on now, but he's doing his best. He's going to be the next Premier, and God bless him for being able to do that with his party, because I wouldn't like to see Danny Williams and doing things for his own personal benefit. I know what I'm saying. He's been doing things for his own personal benefit. Maybe I'll blurt out something today, but I'll leave it for a more appropriate time. It's to do with Muskrat Falls.
All right, sir. Look forward to it. Give us a call anytime you're ready.
Take care.
Thank you.
Thanks again. Bye-bye.
We got close. We got close to something there.